Welcome to my channel, Heels in Business. As I can't seem to stay in one place or job for too long, I thought I'd share my life adventures with you. After 2 nights in Hanoi, I am off to HALONG Bay, which I'm super excited about. I booked this via bookings.com, and what I would say is there's lots of cruise ships that do this trip, and there's lots of different options. So you can do it as a day trip from Hanoi, which I really wouldn't recommend, as the journey to HALONG Bay is about 2.5 hours one way. You can do 2 days, 1 night. You can do it for 2 nights and 3 nights, I believe, is also an option. I've opted for the 2 days and 1 night option. I was picked up this morning at 8:30 from my hotel, and I'm travelling in this limousine, which is an ultra luxury limousine, which it is super comfortable, reclining seats, cup holders, and a charging point for your phone as well. As mentioned, I booked this via bookings.com. In the end, we opted for a company called DORIS Cruise. A lot of the cruise companies are actually owned by the same company, but with various different types of cruise liners with levels of luxury, and we opted for DORIS Cruise. It's quite new, accommodation looked really great, and the reviews so far were really good, so that's why we opted for DORIS, and it did look like a good, luxurious boat. An hour into the trip, we have stopped off at this location for restrooms and food and drink. So if you're worried about the 2.5 hour journey drive from Hanoi to HALONG Bay and having to sit there and needing a pee, don't worry, they do include a stop off on the way. So it was about 2.5 hours to get to the port of HALONG Bay, where you check in the cruise, and it was about a good 45 minutes, maybe to even an hour, before we are boarding the boat cruise. So we're not going directly onto the boat, we're getting on a speedboat first to the boat, but we are.
On the left side. Later, we are moving to the right side. Yes. Hello, welcome aboard. This way, please.
Thank you. By the window.
Just made it onto the DORIS cruise. I have to admit, I felt a bit sleepy when we arrived at the port. I think that 45 to an hour wait, just waiting there, made me a bit sleepy. And then we got on what was a big speedboat. I'm not sure if it's what I define as a speedboat, but a boat to get us to the ship. And here we are. It's very nice. They provide you with a welcome drink, and the views are very pretty. Finally made it onto the DORIS cruise. We've had an introduction from the crew. They're very welcoming, friendly, and quite funny as well with their humour, trying to get us all comfortable. First impressions, really well run. We're just waiting on lunch now, and the scenery is just beautiful. So good. Lunch is being served, and we are starting with a seafood soup, which looks lovely and fresh. It's like a bit like the texture of sweet corn soup, crab mixed with soup.
Egg drop.
Yeah, but lighter. Second part of our starter, we have a green mango salad with a special squid cake. I think it's just a squid tempura. First of our main courses, we have beef, sweet potato with balmy bread. Second part of our main course, we have grilled chicken with sticky steamed rice and some vegetables. I have a piece of cake in front of me. It's only right to have tea with cake, but I fancy some coffee. And this is the last bit of our course. What is it? How many courses have we had? 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our 5th course, so this is the dessert. And we've just been offered some tea or coffee. Lunch all done. I am now making my way to my room. So when they pick you up at the hotel, they tag your bags, and they literally just take care of it. Really, you have your tag for your bag, but they bring it here for you for your room. So I don't know what the relevance of having a bag tag is really, but they transport it here, and it's here at my door, so we don't need to worry about holding it. This is inside the cabin room. I'm going to call it a cabin room. I feel like that's right when you're on a boat. A nice big bed here, and bedside tables. Anton's already claimed his side of the bed with his cat. Teas, water. So this is all complimentary. Any alcoholic drinks, anything from the minibar is an additional cost. TV. And then we've got our bathtub, shower. Let's have a look here. Then you can have a bath whilst enjoying the view. Look at that. Balcony to just enjoy the views.
I can zip it around.
So we've made it to our first stop on our cruise. They give you quite an, well, I wouldn't say full on, but there's an itinerary to the cruise. Lunch, followed by an hour before they dock at this beautiful bay where you can choose to go swimming, kayaking, or just stay on the ship and go on the jacuzzi and relax and lounge or sleep. Completely your choice. This is what's great about these sorts of activities. It's all about you and relaxing, and or not, coming out to do some outdoor activity. We have opted to do some kayaking. This particular place here has, I think, 3 beaches, fairly secluded. We've become the most secluded of all the beaches. We kayaked our way there with some great kayaking skills. I think it took us about 10 minutes-ish to kayak in the boat to this beach, and yeah, it's really lovely. This isn't the optimal time of year to do the cruise, so they say. So I have to say I was a bit on the fence as to whether to do this, but I have really no complaints about the weather. It's about low 20 degrees C in temperature. I think it's perfectly fine, and I think as long as you haven't got rain, it's never really that cold here.
So there are 3 main beaches, as she said, but there's about 5 or 6 in our island anyway, little beaches like this one. If you come to the smaller ones, there's far fewer people on there, but they are a lot smaller, but it looks like the features are a lot nicer. So how much does it cost, Sally?
I actually don't remember. You probably remember better than me. We done this via bookings.com, but I think you remember better.
I think we paid about £215 for the 2 days, 1 night, including full board and food, and then $25 each way for the transfer, which, as Selena said, is actually really good. We were very sceptical about how luxury it was, but it's probably the most comfortable car ride we've ever had.
Yeah, and I was a bit wary because I get car sickness, but it really was perfectly fine. I was comfortable, and it's through them, so it's their responsibility to make sure they pick you up on time and get you to the boat. So I would say to take their transfer set.
There's probably about 6 or 7 boats all anchored at this spot, but as you can see on the bit that we've picked, there's only us and another couple that are here, so it does feel really like you're completely secluded from everything. The other thing is, for anybody that doesn't know, did you already say King Kong was filmed? Part of King Kong was staged here.
Yeah, it's not actually at this spot. Where we're going
Next.
Tomorrow on day 2's itinerary, we will visit the area where King Kong Skull Island was filmed.
And hopefully there's a little bit more sun so you can get a clearer picture. If not, I'll adjust it in post. Saying to our fans.
So I highly recommend this trip. For me, this has been great after the hustle and bustle of Hanoi. It's really nice to come here and be in the quiet and calm, not to be in the traffic, feeling dirty with all the pollution and fumes. This is nice. And even Chiang Mai, because that's...
I was going to say, what do you think is better? Chiang Mai, Vietnam, is it worth doing together? I know what my opinion is.
Absolutely worth doing together, and I would have loved to have done even more places like Cambodia as well. But for me, I prefer Chiang Mai. There's just something about that place in terms of, I could stay there for 6 months and be quite happy, whereas Hanoi is more of a place to visit for the experience of the city there, the people, the culture, food, but it's not somewhere I could imagine living for a long time.
Yeah, I'd agree. Considering if you watch, it might have been the race day video where I was saying we're coming here, and I really didn't like it last time I came to the east. My experience has been great. I absolutely love Chiang Mai. I could stay there for 6 months a year, really comfortable, relaxed. Vietnam is very, very, very nice, but it's too close to a standard city, just dirtier, more populated. The driving is mental, although we don't see any crashes. Whereas Chiang Mai is just super relaxed, nice and cheap, the people are really friendly. The food is the best food I've ever had.
That is almost day 1 of the HALONG Bay cruise done. Had some delicious food, went kayaking, went to a secluded beach. Then I enjoyed some time in the jacuzzi at the front of the boat, or the back of the boat actually. They've got a large jacuzzi, which I can share with you. After that, freshened up, and they have a happy hour where if you buy not 1 drink but 2 drinks, then you get your 3rd free for a couple of hours. And then there is a cooking class that's happening where you can learn how to make traditional Vietnamese spring rolls, and then dinner for tomorrow's adventures.
Everyone!
What are you doing, Anne?
Pretending that there's squid in here.
squid. We're trying
Nobody's caught any squid. There's 7 rods out. There's no squid here. There's a pretend squid on this.
Nighttime activities of squid fishing, which is proving unsuccessful.
What are you trying to do, sir?
As mentioned, squid fishing. It's a nighttime pastime here in Halong Bay.
Why haven't you caught any fish, Sally?
I'm not entirely sure there are any here. We've seen fish, just not getting any of this squid. Maybe someone's eaten them for dinner. Day 2 on the HALONG BAY cruise. Just had breakfast this morning, so 7 a.m. breakfast, and just enjoying the views of the bay, having a morning stroll on the cruise ship. Today we are going to, I think it's called Katba Island, which is where Skull Island King Kong was filmed. Ready to fish at any point. Maybe if they drop something. I'm on a boat. So we are now on the smaller boat to take us to the island, which is the film set of Skull Island, which I've mentioned. Our next stop, and that is these smaller rowing boats that we will be entering.
Excuse me? That one. Yeah. Mình đi ra cái chỗ chụp cái phi công ấy kia là. Xong rồi lại vòng về miếu. Anyone want to change my position to take the pose? Yeah, I think I want to go back there. Straight ahead, Daddy.
Đấy, có gì kêu đấy?
Đúng rồi. He say he hear the sound of a langur.
Đấy.
Langur.
What is langur?
Langur is a primate. I have picture. Wait. The primate is monkey. It's an endangered species.
Hay là con chó của mình?
Có đâu. The other reason is the reflection come from the evergreen forest. Reflection to the water. Yeah. It's like when you go to open sea, you see the ocean look blue. Yeah, because it reflects with the sky. Yeah. And right here it reflects with the evergreen forest.
That is almost the end of our 2-day, 1-night cruise in Halong Bay. It was really good, and how the whole tour was operated by Doris Cruise in particular was also a plus. From the food, the service, how attentive they were, all great from me. This morning we went over to Katba Island where they filmed one of the King Kong films. That was also really good. They took us out onto smaller boats. I guess they're a bit more like fishermen's boat types. We were rowed round where the film set. Unfortunately, didn't see any monkeys or any other animals there, but it was a really nice, peaceful, serene trip, and we got to see some spectacular views around Cat Bar Island. There were a few comments that I'd read prior to this trip about the waters being like full of plastics, being quite dirty. I would say it wasn't that bad. There were plastics that I noticed in and around, and what I also picked up on was that the locals were, anytime they came across any piece of rubbish in the water, they would pick them up and fish them out. So anyone that has read reviews about the place and how it's full of rubbish, it's not that true anymore. I think they're all trying to help and do their bit by picking up what they can. Highly recommend this trip, definite